What you're going to do is you're going to go find a commercial real estate broker, and then you're going to ask that broker to find you a location in town that that has like mechanic bays, to where you have like 3 or 4 bays, something like that. Even 2 is probably enough, but 3 or 4 bays or something like that is ideal if you can. And then you're going to go and try and negotiate a lease on that. Because unless you've got enough money in pocket to just go buy the building, the land, and then buy all the equipment, which most people don't, you're going to have to do some kind, you have to use other people's money, right? Okay. So now, let me just explain this. If you have $2 million in cash, you would not do this. If you have $2 million in cash, you would just go do something else. Okay. We're assuming you don't have that. So you're going to go find a broker. You're going to get him to return your phone calls. Good luck with that. That'll take a month. Once you go look at the building, and then you're going to try and put forth a proposal to lease the building. The owner of that building is going to want the moon, because it's probably some old boomer that still thinks it's 2008 and everything is like, yeah, whatever. Okay, so they're going to want probably $10,000 a month or more for that location. That's just your location plus triple net, which means that's flexible. That's going to just go up all the time. And they're going to want to have, it go up by 10% a year. So your rent's going to be $10,000 a month, and it's going to go to $11,000 a month, and then it's going to go on and on. I mean, you get the idea. Okay. So you're going to have to deal with that. Then you're going to make sure that your lifts work, or put lifts in, which is going to cost you a bunch of money. Then you got to find people that are competent. Good luck with that one. And once you put them in there, assuming that they're any good, and assuming that you want to work there, which of course, I mean, that's a big assumption nowadays, because most Americans genuinely don't want to actually do the work in the business, because they were told that, well, the business owner doesn't really do anything. He just sits at home and just lets the money roll in, right? That's the scam nowadays. That's just, I hear this all the time from franchises. Like, just buy the franchise and let the money roll in. Yeah, that doesn't really work. That's not how any of that works. A lot of franchise owners are finding that out right now as they file for bankruptcy. So yeah, I mean, let's say that you work there. Okay, now if you believe that you can do brakes, and I'm using brakes because I just want to expand on this, and this is not me trying to push back on anything. This is me just pointing out, if you think you can do brakes really cheap, then you should do this. Okay, and other mechanical work, if you think you can do it cheaper. So I don't know how much and I'm sure my comment section will be full of mechanics who will probably point this out. Scanners, how much those things, I've heard numbers from up to $2,000 to $20,000 just for the scanner, and that's just to diagnose a problem. All of these costs, okay, are going to get pushed onto you, the customer, because that's just business. Like, well, but I don't want that. That's not fair. We shouldn't do any of that. Okay, fine. Then everybody I'm talking to that doesn't want to do any of this, they're just going to say, okay, fine. I'll just go home. Right? Then you can go deal with the dealerships. Good luck with that. All right. This is. You see what I'm saying? See how this works? Let's talk about brakes for just a second here. I'm just going to focus on this because this was just a hot topic, and I'm answering somebody else's questions on this. It's like, do you know how many times you have to order brake rotors to find ones that are round now? I'm hearing this from lots of mechanics. Honda Civic comes in and says, I need brakes. I need brake pads and rotors. Okay, no problem at all. So you order 40 rotors, not 4 rotors. You order 40 of them, because the chances are most of them aren't even going to be round anymore. They're made in China by slave kids who they don't care. What do they care? All that crap's going to America. What do they care about Americans? I'm not picking on anybody. I'm like, dude, I'm stating the fact. Like, why do they care? Who cares about the spoiled Americans? Right? So these products that show up that are cheap, they're real cheap, that are out around, they got to go through them, sift through them, and everything. Find ones that aren't warped from the factory, and then they put them on there, and this is so that all this stuff takes time. And I'm not justifying one price or another. I'm not saying one price is better than another. I'm pointing out that I'm talking to you as a businessman, right? I would be same as if you were standing here in my garage. I'd be telling you, okay, if you're able to do this cheaper, and you're able to get and maintain customers and maintain the goodwill of customers, if you can pull that off, You know, because of course, many customers are going to ask, do you have any kind of insurance for any of this? Because, you know, because here's the thing, if brakes fail, you're not going to hit a busload of kids, okay, from the inner city. That's not going to pay out. What you're going to hit is a tour bus with 55-year-old white male lawyers, and every one of them is now in high earner status, and now they all want lawsuits. That's what'll hit. So you can either insure that yourself, which, I mean, good luck, which you just file bankruptcy and go across the street, open up another one, I suppose, would be one way to go about that. That's not going to really help you out with the goodwill of the customers, especially if the customers are like, you know, hey, do you have any insurance for this? I mean, like, this is the thing. I mean, this is why, like, the mobile mechanic thing. You know, there's lots of mobile mechanics but it's like, you know, yeah, but keep in mind, mobile mechanics, a lot of them are here today, gone tomorrow. I'm not picking on mobile mechanics. Don't go in the comment section and start talking. No, dude. I'm not picking on mobile mechanics. I have friends that are mobile mechanics. That's not it. And even run businesses, but just keep this in mind. You know, it's like you're not dealing with an FBO. You're just not. So, I mean, I don't know. So you run the risk that goes along with all that. Because in some areas it is a risk. I'm in Texas. That's a risk. So, yeah, I mean, like this is just me telling you this. If you think you can do it a lot cheaper, then roll the dice and take your chances along with everybody else in business. What you're going to find out is, because you're going to ask the questions like, well, then how do all these other businesses do it? Usually endless amounts of debt is how they typically do it. And you can refinance debt for a while, but eventually it's like the US. You can eventually you run out of money. Eventually you run out of everybody else's money, their patience and so on. And then usually what a lot of mechanic shops will do too, I've seen this happen. I've watched this happen twice now. Recently seen this, where they just keep hiring cheaper and cheaper and cheaper mechanics. And eventually the mechanics don't speak English anymore. And of course, it's like, you know, they're working on people's cars they don't really care about, they don't know anything about it, they're just there to steal whatever tools they can steal at the time. I'm not joking about this. This is like actually happens all the time. Ask any mechanic shop that's been around for more than 30 years, and they will tell you horror story after horror story about that exact thing. So you either pay enough. Remember the competency crisis? Pinned to the top of my TikTok account is the competency crisis. I did a whole video about that. Competent people are expensive. That's just how it works, right? That's why they don't like it. That's why they're trying to figure out, like, how do we get around these competent people? You don't. That's why your civilization's falling apart. That's why everything's falling the fuck apart right now. That's why you're seeing Atlas shrugging basically everywhere. With the right set of eyes, you will see the whole goddamn world collapsing, because no one wants to pay the competent people who know what the fuck they're doing, because those people are expensive. Yeah. Oh, and they're going to get, by the way, they're going to get more expensive. The longer you put this off, the more expensive that's going to get to fix. Just like anything else, just like any other problem out there. The longer you put it off, the worse it gets. So, yeah. Like, I mean, like, this is, by the way, this is a pretty basic business lesson. This is not a criticism. I'm not arguing with anybody. I'm just stating this as just as a fact. This is how this works. If you think you can do it better, then you should do this immediately, right? It's just like back in the day with the longshoreman strike. Oh my God, they make $180,000 a year. My God, then you should be in line to get that job. Well, you know, no, bullshit. The numbers are either bullshit or you're full of shit. One of the two, right? And you know me, I don't take any prisoners. You know, I mean, anybody who's followed me for any length of time, you know I don't take any fucking prisoners. So, you know, and I don't clan with any of you. So I'll call your hypocrisy out. I don't give a fuck who you are. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's just it. If you think you can do it, the thing is, if you can do it cheaper, if you can provide a better product at a better price to the consumer, guess what will happen? You will be rewarded, because what's left of kind of the free market, if you want to call it that, will show up and beat a path to your door, won't they? Or you'll have to compete with a company that gets a bunch of subsidies and just runs on endless amounts of debt and never has to pay it back because, you know, reasons.